It's fairly popular today to say that kata is outdated or that it was never a good training practice. And a lot of times the response to that is lacking as well. And it usually attributes it to some esoteric reason to continue practicing, or just the love of tradition. Maybe it's meditative. Maybe you want to learn this art, but it doesn't have a practical purpose. Or maybe it's beautiful and it has an aesthetic appeal. Or maybe it's because of winning tournaments or trophies or something. And maybe you're mining the kata for bunkai, right? Like maybe you're the one who searches the kata for the bunkai, but you don't really do the whole kata a whole lot other than searching it for those applications. Well, here's 10 reasons to do kata today that are maybe not what you hear all the time from all the other sources. And maybe they are. And if other people are saying this too, more power to them. I don't think I'm inventing any of this. 10 reasons to do kata today without getting woo woo. For one, it's transformative and develops good habits and proper movement. Transformative in the sense that it will activate your tendons or whatever muscle that you're working, not in a strength building way so much as teaching your body how to work. There are certain techniques that cannot be done without doing kind of prerequisite motions over and over again to learn how to do it. Things like striking, using an up block as a strike, and that kind of flick of the forearm where we turn the forearm into a striking surface. Not just swinging it like a baseball bat, like you might see, but also just flicking it or twisting it into the opponent's neck or head or something like that. So creating those movements that take time to develop power with, that don't automatically or easily have power. Um, so it transforms your ability to move, and then transformative in the sense that you develop good habits. You are um, aware of where you're putting your hands, of what part of the foot is touching the ground first, and you develop these habits that will see you through bad situations or sparring matches or what have you, because you're just used to stepping properly. You're used to having your balance under you before you put your foot down. You're used to moving right. It's transformative in how it activates your tendons. If you're doing your knife hand properly, if you're doing these other things properly, you are beginning to develop power that doesn't depend just on muscles, but on the tendons that connect the muscles to the bones. And it creates a power that takes time and effort to develop, and without doing kata or something analogous to it, which in the end would just be a kata of another nature and under a different name. Without doing that, you don't develop that sort of power, that sort of ability to generate power. So it's not so much about what you get out of the kata or mastering the kata, it's the kata transforming and changing you as a fighter. And I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again. I did one kata 55 times in a week on a challenge from my instructor, and it was really a challenge to do 100, and I just got busy with other things and neglected it after the first part of the week. But just the slow, repetitious kata training where I just went through it methodically. I was focusing on my body. That changed the way I moved on a fundamental level, and it changed how I fought because the kata had molded me. I was pressed into its mold, and I came out looking different. Um, it's analogous to what Christians believe happens when they study the Bible, that we are transformed into the image of Christ, right? And the kata is, in a sense, it is the same sort of conveyor of information that a book would be. And so it's not so much that you get knowledge out of it, but just like when you read a good story and it changes you, the katas will change you. the katas will change you. This has been part 1 of a 10-part series on why do kata.